The social media company TikTok is no longer fully owned by the Chinese. In late January, the company came under majority ownership by U.S. companies. Security and privacy concerns still remain for users of the popular app. Here to explain more is Dragita Lapienti, editor-in-chief of Cyber News. Dragita, it's good to have you with us here. So we thought all this security and privacy concerns about the Chinese spying on TikTok, on the app users, would be rectified with U.S. ownership, but you've discovered that's not true. Tell us more.
Well, this might be the case, right? So TikTok users might have escaped, let's say, Chinese surveillance. But this is, this doesn't mean that we are entirely out of the woods with privacy and security. So the executive order signed 5 years ago, right? It focused a lot on just getting it into U.S. hands, thinking that this way Americans might protect their own privacy and be safe from the Chinese surveillance. And TikTok, when it changed hands, actually introduced a new privacy policy. And in some cases, it is more extreme than it was under the Chinese ownership. In some cases, it might track your, let's say, exact location. This is not what was happening, when the company was Chinese, and obviously you wouldn't want any algorithm knowing where you are at any given second. It is possible to opt out of that information, out of that app tracking that information, right? But this is for a user that is, let's say, tech savvy, more privacy aware, which is not always the case. That's why we're sounding alarm bells.
Well, what kind of information about people are they storing in the cloud? Because I know that's a concern.
So people are worried because they read the new privacy policy that they need to agree in order to use TikTok. And now it says that the app collects and might collect your ethnicity, your race, your location, religious beliefs. And, that sounds excessive data collection practices in cases where, people are really protective about their privacy.
How about their health? Things like that. Does it collect that as well?
It does have like a lot of information. Of course, the majority of information is put out there by users themselves. And we know that especially with TikTok creators, they are putting forward a lot of information. And the danger here is that it also collects more information, about you as a person. It doesn't have your, let's say, medical history, right? But it may have and may put a whole picture together, let's say, for the government. Let's say if you are a pregnant person traveling to, a state where abortion isn't banned, and the app knows your location, and it can, just help authorities come up with a conclusion why you travel there, right? So by knowing, let's say, your location and where you spend more of your time, it can come up with an assumption that you might have been to a health institution, you might have had an abortion, and things like that.
So, Dragita, what does this mean for our Christian viewers and other groups that are already marginalized? How will it affect Christians?
I wouldn't single out maybe just Christians, right? Essentially, it's important for all of us to understand the dangers and the data that TikTok collects. Essentially, those excessive data practices, they are making us all different vulnerable groups more vulnerable and more exposed to different dangers that that groups are facing. So Christians not excluded, any fears, any stereotypes, any persecution, any group might be already facing these TikTok practices, that data collection practices could only amplify in worst case scenario.
Okay. From Vilnius, Lithuania, Dragita Lapienti, editor-in-chief of Cyber News. Good to talk to you. Thanks for providing your insights.
Thank you.